Hi, everyone. It's Diane Evans with stampinwithdiane.com. I'm an independent Canadian Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the interior of British Columbia. So if you join me on Facebook or on YouTube, welcome. Make sure that you like my Facebook page. Make sure that you also subscribe to my YouTube channel. And then that way you'll get notified immediately as soon as I upload a new video. So today it's part of my How Did They Do That series. This is a Technique Tuesday, and I'm actually live today. It's not pre-recorded. So I am excited to be here. This happens to be probably one of my favorite old techniques. It's something that I've used. I can tell you certain stamp sets that worked brilliant. Oh my goodness, I can't even talk. But they worked brilliant with certain stamp sets of long ago. But anyways, it actually works pretty good with the Abigail Rose as well. So today, what we're going to do is and I'm just going to jump on right on down to my screen down here. We are doing the Crayon Resist Technique. Now, if you've been back, you've stamped years and years ago, you probably know this technique. But if you haven't and you don't remember it, it's to me, it's one of my favorite. Like, no, I can't say that. That's kind of going wrong. My favorite is anything to do with heat embossing, but of course, this one's pretty cool. This Crayon Resist Technique, the thing that I strongly suggest, hello, is using Crayola crayons and using a white Crayola crayon. So you know what? If you don't have any of these crayons, this is the one crayon that is always the longest in the box. Nobody uses this crayon that often. So it's the white. You could use a lighter color, but the white works the best, I think, with this particular technique. So a white Crayola crayon. And like I say, it's one of those ones that doesn't get used. So talk to your grandchildren and see if you can get into their Crayola crayon box. And if they've got a whole pile, and even talk to maybe a school teacher. Do you give your extra paper and that sort of stuff to a school teacher? Maybe ask them about the white crayons, because trust me, they're the ones that aren't used. All right, so we are going to use this with the Abigail Rose, or the Cottage Rose bundle. And actually, with the Abigail Rose suite is actually what we're going to be using today. So on this particular technique sheet, it says to stamp an image in black or a dark color. I find that the Memento works probably the best. Thanks. It's good to be home. It feels like it was a long trip. It was a long day that last day. We were up at 2 o'clock British Columbia time, Pacific Standard Time, or Daylight Time. Actually, we were on the road by that time. So it was just after midnight that we set our alarms for. And we basically got to the airport, and I didn't get home till after midnight. So I guess Monday morning I got home. And yes, but it was well worth it. Not the stay, not the layover in Calgary, but honestly, what a great trip. What great people to meet. New Orleans, if it's on your bucket list, make sure that you do go. Where do I live? I live in Kamloops, British Columbia. So unfortunately for us, unless we're going Air Canada, WestJet is now talking about only one flight a day, which is the 11:35 flight from Calgary. So that's really unfortunate for us. Anyways, let's get back onto our technique. So we are going to use this white wax crayon. It states on your instructions here as black or a dark ink color. If you are going to use another color, I would strongly make sure that it is good and dry. But I prefer the Memento Tuxedo because it does work, and it dries so much quicker. So, like I say, we're going to use the Abigail Rose. We're using the Designer Series paper. This beautiful suite can be found on page 56 and 57 of the annual catalog. I like going back to the annual catalog. We're going to use a piece of this designer series paper that probably you went, oh, what would I do with that? But we're going to actually use that. Yeah, you're lucky you live in Kelowna. At least Kelowna, at least Kelowna, you get better flights too. And honestly, there was no way I when I take a trip, I do not drive back from Kelowna. I used to, but I don't anymore. Hello, Donna. It's good to see you on here. Okay, so let's go back on to doing this Crayon Resist technique. I actually, this was one of the first ones that I wrote out the instructions for. So it's one of those ones that I really, really like this technique. So what we're going to do today is a bookbinder card. I think this one shows off this particular technique about the best. I'm using Petal Pink just because it goes so great with the designer series paper that's in there. And this happens to be 4 1/4 by 11 inches. I scored it at 5 1/2. And then I also turned it around and I scored it at, oh my goodness, I scored it at 4 inches. So how that works is we're going to fold into the mountain like this. And I'll use my bone folder on there. And it's got a really good crease. And then this piece goes like this. And it looks like a book card is roughly what it looks like. And so what I did was I used this particular piece of designer series paper. Not this one, but this one. This is the one. I think this would be a great scrapbooking piece. But I used this piece and I cut this piece 4 inches by 1 1/2. No, this is 1 1/2 in. So I did it 1 1/4. So 1 1/4 by 4 inches. And then I also have this other piece to go here on this side. This one happens to be 3 3/4 by 4 inches. So it matches that way. And then the best thing to do with this is, I should have brought in a piece of paper to mask this on, but that's okay. I'm using the Petal Pink, and what I thought I'd do is I am going to just brush this part. And we're going to get this kind of semi-done before I get going on the other one. So the blending brush, we're just going to go in, and I just want to get so that this color kind of goes with the color of, kind of blends in with the cardstock. And you know what? I'm going to come in, and oh my goodness, I'm going to use a scrap piece of paper underneath, just so that when I blend, I don't cover this up. So let's just get this with our blending brush, and let's just color this. And all this is doing is just taking off the starkness of the designer series paper. Not that it's stark, but you know, it's just to give it that color so it brings up the cardstock as well. So I have that, and then I'm also going to do this piece as well. And so when I do this Crayon Resist technique, I'm also going to do the inside of the card with that same particular technique. So I've got that. It's very subtle, but it kind of just sort of ties a little bit more into the cardstock. And then the piece that's going on the inside here is 3 3/4 by 4 inches. So this is the piece. So I'm just going to go in. We're just going to brush that. And we're just sort of getting this prepped so that we can put the card all together kind of all at the same time. Okay. Now that's going to go on the inside. All right. So I went ahead and with my basic white, and I did a couple of these. With my basic white, I stamped the rose that's here and then the leaves that are here. Now I did it in Memento Black because I wanted it to, I wanted it to show show up, and I also wanted it to be good and dry. So I did it ahead of time, and I went ahead and cut these out. Now, this is the magic. So with our crayon, what we're going to do is, now remember this is a resist. So what happens is that it resists where you color this. And honestly, you cannot see the crayon. Now, I don't know how the other brands of crayons work. I've always used the Crayola. And it's back to school time, so there's a lot of crayon stuff. And you can get them for sale too. So all I'm going to do is I kind of look to see where I've got that crayon, and I can kind of see. But you really want to lay that crayon down. So how many people have seen this technique before, the Crayon Resist Technique? I'm not seeing anybody say anything. So what I'm going to do on the leaves, I'm just going in on the veins, which it would be the opposite of what you think you would do. But it does give a pretty cool effect with it. And the way I'm pushing on this, I'm thinking that I'm going to break this crayon. Like I say, you could use a lighter color crayon. It would work, but you kind of get a little bit of a different effect with it because it does give a bit of color and it leaves it. But you've never seen it. Okay. You've used it? Yes. I love this technique. And like I say, I haven't used it very often in the last probably 10 years. With this technique, what I love to see this done with is pine cones. I think it's amazing with the pine cones. And I tried to bring out that Christmas stamp set that came out last year that we still have. And honestly, I couldn't get it so that it worked. So then I'm just going to do these leaves. And I'm not really paying too much attention to how I'm doing it. You're going to find if you do something like this, you're going to get a different look all the time. Right. And I'm hoping I've got that on there enough. You can kind of feel it. Just going to go back in. Now, you could use your blending brushes with this, but I'm going to use sponge daubers because I want to kind of isolate where I'm putting certain colors here. All right. So then I'm just going to bring this paper back in. And I am going to be using Petal Pink, and I'm going to use Pear Pizzazz as well. I have two brand new sponge daubers. This is the green. So I'm just going to go in. And you're going to see this up closer. It's really kind of cool the way that it works. So this is the leaves there. And I'm going to go ahead and use this on the other side as well. And all it really does is give you a bit more of an accent. I guess I probably could have come in and done something different with the stems. So I don't want to mix my colors on my sponge daubers. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to use the Petal Pink. And you see how it's, because of how I've done it, it's resisting here, which is going to give those flowers a really different sort of look. And I've also done the Crayon Resist up here. Like I say, other things that are really good, or certain parts that go with animals, are really good for doing this technique with. Looks like I need to re-ink my re-inker. Now, this one I put a lot more crayon on. Let's see. Don't remember what you did with them? Oh, Karen, you're pulling off a me stunt. Oh my goodness, I'm thinking about going to online. I am going to some in-person classes one weekend a month. And honestly, I look at this studio and I go, ooh, do I ever have to do some cleanup, major cleanup. So see how that's working that way. See how it's resisting. And it's kind of funny because I'll show you another one that I did that was done totally different. But I kind of like this. This is working out quite well. All right. So there's the crayon resisting in there. I'll show you another one that I didn't do as much on. I kind of like this. And then what you want to do is you want to come in and you want to bring in either a Kleenex, some paper towel. You just want to rub that crayon off. And if I wanted to, I could go back in. And now that I've rubbed that crayon off, it could give a bit more color to it. But I think I'm going to leave it that way. Kind of like the way that works. Okay. So there we go there. So let's go ahead and start building this card. Oh, shoot. I want to also take this one and let's quickly go in and put that on there. Like I say, you'll see how quickly this memento does dry. I'm just going to put this in the corner here. I'm going to come back in with that crayon. And I may not do this as dark as or as much here. No, the crayon doesn't hurt the sponge at all. No, it just resists. It just goes over there. And you see that I actually turned around and used the paper towel and actually rubbed off the crayon. The crayon doesn't come on at all. Okay, so. And we just, like I say, we just want this for the inside. There we go. I like it where there's more white on it. All right, just close up those stamps. And we do need to do one more bit of stamping. This is going to go on there. This is my spare piece from there. So what I want to do is I want to stamp my sentiment. And I thought best wishes. I really like best wishes. I like this feel better real soon. I wonder if I should do that feel better real soon. Nope. We're going to go best wishes, where that could be for anything. It could be for a birthday. It could be anything. And I'm going to do it in such a spot that it's going to go the same way as my designer series paper. Whoops, upside down. But that's okay, because I can just turn it around. And then we're going to come in with our sponge. Yes, I do have a pretty heavy pressure is what I've done with that, with the crayon. You'll find that you want to do it that heavy. Now I'm just going to come in and let's just cut this, fussy cut this out. Now remember, I'll be putting up this PDF tomorrow. It'll be in my Facebook group. The link is down below. if you are not a member of my Facebook group, and it's under the files section. There we go. And I'm going to bring in this piece again because I want to sponge it. No, Charlene, it's the opposite way. So basically what I'm doing, where I put the crayon is resisting the color. So it's all the other parts where I don't put the crayon is where it's going to be darker. Like I could have even put a crayon resist on this to highlight the edges there. All right, so let's get going on this card. All right, this, I say let's get going on this card, and then I lose everything. So I want this to go here. Now, remember, I've sponged this. So I'm just going to come in with my glue. And like I say, I thought I'd use this designer series paper as a piece that you would go, oh, I don't know what to do with that piece. So let's just put that, whoops. We'll put that, whoops, right there. Remember when you get some glue, the thing to do is just to take a sponge, and I'll show you how I'm going to get that glue off of there. Not that sponge, but a regular sponge. And I'm just going to take this and just rub that like that. And it just magically, it takes it off. So I'm going to put this on the binder part, going the same direction. Yes, I do. Every Wednesday morning, I'll put it on the group and I state that it'll be going live in about 15 minutes on my group page. And that's this file. My goodness, where did it go to? But it'll have a picture of this card on there. And I will also give you some of the measurements on there. Plus, I will also give you some of the product that I've used that's not a normal type product. So this is going to go here on the inside here. And we could put whatever else, whatever other sentiment that we want to do. I don't give the instructions on how to make the card, but I give the measurements of this card. I give that tutorial. You know what I didn't do on this particular one? So I didn't rub that. And I'll show you in just a second. So I'm just going to take this. Oh, you're welcome. And I'm just going to take this and rub this off. And that is what makes that look more rubbed off. Now I'm also going to, and I took this from the Stylish Shape dies, and this is soft seafoam. I tried using the Pear Pizzazz that I used, but this works a little bit better this way. So what I want to do here is I want to put some ribbon through here. Now, I wasn't sure what ribbon to use. I have the Petal Pink ribbon, you know what, and I can use that. And I also have this ribbon that comes from the Forest Friends, and I kind of want to put the two of them on there. I think it kind of goes hand in hand. So I think I'm going to need about that much ribbon because I want to tie it kind of in a knot. Just come in and cut this. Just cut this any which way to begin with. And let's go ahead and put this on here. So I'm going to come in with my tear and tape. Whenever I use ribbon, I love to use tear and tape. So I'm going to put that in 3 different spots. Now this is on the inside of this bookbinder card. I apologize for the later start today, but I forgot all about this training piece. So that's going to come down there like that. So I'm going to come in with my Take Your Pick tool. You bet. So let's go back in with this. Like I say, yeah, not normal to do this live at 4. I like to do it at 4:30, but this training started. I'm just going to put that like that. And then I'm going to come back in with my tear and tape to seal this down. We're going to take it off too. And I think what I'm also going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put the tear and tape down the side here to make sure that it's good and stuck down to the inside of the card. Okay, if you have any other questions, just let me know. Let's go ahead and put this down the side here. So many things happening. We have registration for bingo that's open. We also have I have registration for my international stamp camp, which is an amazing deal. Is you buy the Boughs of Holly suite, and you get 13 make and takes for free with that. You do use your product for it, and then you're a member of a special Facebook group, and then you also have 13 other alternative projects. And this bunch of ladies, actually, I got to meet 2 of them when I was in New Orleans, 2 from the States, which was awesome to meet these ladies. We had lunch with Beth, and then we sat with Sharon Burkhart. So it was great. It was so much fun to be able to meet these people. All right, so I'm hoping that I've got this long enough. If I don't, I'm in trouble. All right, so I just want to tie this in a knot. Ew. Oh dear. Well, you know what? I'm going to take this and tie the... How am I going to do this now? No, I can do it this way. And talk about improvising. I'm just going to... Let's take this and we're going to just tie this. Like I was saying yesterday, it's so weird not to stamp for about a week. And then coming back, it's like, I forgot how to do this stuff. There we go. That'll work. It's kind of got the pink on one side and the crumb cake ribbon on the other. But that's okay. We're going to live with that. So I'm just going to come in with my ribbon scissors. And we're just... Didn't get the ends. That'll work. It'll work okay. And that's... There we go. So this is working, like I say, like a book card, a bookbinder card. So I've got this cut out with stylish shapes, and this is going to go on here, and I think we'll put that on directly. Then I'm going to go ahead, put this on there. We're going to put this underneath, and then we're going to go best wishes. And you know what? I really wish that I'd done crayon on here. And I think I can. I can still do some. And we'll see how this works. Let's see. And then I'm just going to take that piece of paper towel. Let's rub that off. Like I say, this is kind of like a emboss resist, but not really. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this. This is the largest stitched frame size. Hello. So like I say, This used to be one of my favorite techniques. I remember one particular stamp set, and it works great with Lovely as it's free as well. How do I know that, right? So I'm going to come in and I'm going to use my Stampin' Dimensionals. Let's go ahead and put that on there. So I have extras of these. I didn't know how it was going to turn out, so I just made some extra. Now, oops, we want to put some in the middle there too as well. Now I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if this, you know what, I'm just going to leave that like that. And then let's put some of these dimensionals on here. I think I'm going to use the little ones on this. So I hope you give this a try. Remember on the tutorial sheet, what happens is that you do get a spot to put your own sample on here. I will have the sample on here. Thank you. This technique is so simple, Donna. It's so simple. Honestly, it's one of the easiest techniques going. And that's why I say I'm going quite at the beginning of these. These are quite elementary. I got this amazing swap. Man, did she do a lot of work. And I can't wait to do that particular technique as well. All right. So we're going to put this like this, and we're going to put this on here as well. So there, and let's just take these off. It's always nice to come back in and do a card and using the annual catalog, right? So this is going to go here. So I'm going to put the embellishment, the dimensional on this side, and then I'm just going to put glue over here so that it's the same height as the other. Let's put that right there. Helps when you take the back of the dimensional off. There we go. And of course, then we also need to do some embellishments. So what I'm going to use are the Elegant Faceted Gems because they are in a petal pink color. Let's go ahead and use those. So one here. And then let's put another one of the bigger ones. Whoops. Right there. All right. So what did you think of that technique? You know, you're right. I absolutely love this technique. And like I say, this is done a little bit less, and it was done with a dirtier sponge. So it had no color on it. So like I say, this is our Crayon Resist Technique using the Abigail Rose or the Cottage Rose bundle and the Designer Series paper, the Abigail Rose Designer Series paper, which shows you a different type of a paper. And then this also lets you see the inside of the bookbinder card. So I hope you enjoyed that. So what's happening? Okay. Back to the regular time. Tomorrow is Mystery Wednesday, where I'm going to give you 3 clues at noon so that you use something that you've got in your stash and also enables you to stamp and think a little bit outside of the box. I'm not telling you where to put things. And then on Thursday is I'm going to be using something from the catalogs and showing you a way that you can use it. Oh, thank you. Anyways, I hope you like that. Oh, what's coming? I must tell you about certain things. Starting on September the 1st, there's some pretty exciting things that are happening. There's going to be a weekly special that's coming out, and that's in all markets. Another thing that's coming out is the perfect pairing. So I've shown fresh stems or fresh flower stems where there's certain things that are in the annual catalog, certain stamp sets, and now they've got dies that go with them, and they're only until September the 30th. So you're only, or while quantities last. So you're not going to be able to get these afterwards. They might bring them out in an annual catalog afterwards. I'm not sure what they're doing with them, but honestly, it's there's that. And of course, celebration you only have today and tomorrow, and celebration is over. So make sure that you're not disappointed and get in. And especially with those extra celebration items that are available, pretty amazing. So, in any event, you guys have a great evening, and we will see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Bye for now.